Okay, and welcome to this week's episode of Guest with Guy. So for anyone who hasn't seen this segment before, it is essentially me welcoming into the spotlight a member of the SFM community to share a little bit about their background, their story, maybe a bit about their life before joining the SFM. And really to talk through, what thought process they've gone through to decide that an online business is the right choice for them to create the kind of lifestyle that they're looking for, lifestyle of time freedom and flexibility. And this week, I am phenomenally grateful to have one of my favourite people with me on the call, Miss Cordelia Ali. So Cordelia, thank you very much for being here. Much appreciated.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you. I always like to start off really just to kind of throw the ball into your court, and maybe if you'd like to just tell us a little bit about, your background, where you come from, and ultimately, what kind of led you to the SFM in the first place, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, I'm Cordelia. In the business world, I'm known as Cordelia Kate rather than Cordelia Ali, because there's too many A's in the middle of that name to look good with a .com at the end. But yeah, I have been building my own business since 2017. Basically, I was a nurse at that stage, working 13-hour shifts on a busy emergency ward. I love the emergency stuff. The adrenaline running, saving people from sepsis and bleeding out and rushing people to theatre. It was exciting. But, it was also exhausting and in a lot of ways, not exactly completely fulfilling, because in hindsight, looking back on that, I was not bouncing out of bed to go to work. In fact, I would think up of 50 excuses each morning to tell the ward sister why I couldn't come in. And I'd think of these excuses, as I was getting ready for work. And I never actually gave them because, the thought of my team of nurses being, short-staffed on an emergency ward was too guilt-provoking for me to have even enjoyed an hour of that free day off. But yeah, so I've got 3 children as well. And at the time, they were 4, 3, and 1? No, something like that. 4, 2, and 3. So, I can't remember. Right now, they're 6, 4, and 3. So they were like 2 years younger than that. So life was manic because I was at work and then I was at home, and I used to go out before they woke up in the morning. I was back after they fell asleep, and it was just crazy busy. And actually, my relationship with them was degrading, in the sense that I would come in and they would be really excited about seeing daddy when he came home, but when I came home they just weren't bothered, and I was just like, it used to hurt me so much. So yeah, I was building an eBay business alongside my nursing job, to try and free up a bit of time, have a bit more money, be able to send the kids to Stagecoach, go to the theatre, have an extra holiday, this kind of stuff. But I just hated it. It was just the worst thing I ever did. So yeah, I quit doing that, and then it was probably about 2 months after I quit, after I'd paid hundreds of pounds in port fees because I just did not know what I was doing, importing things from China, that I found the SFM. And I kind of wasn't actively looking for it, but it just popped up one day, and I knew that I wanted something where I could run my own business online, but I just didn't know what that looked like. So yeah, I stumbled upon the SFM, and the rest is history.
As they say. Fantastic. Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously, again, is one of the great things about the SFM is it's such a rich tapestry of different people come from different backgrounds and different walks of life. And, you probably always had that, I suppose, a little bit of an entrepreneurial flair then if you were, obviously doing your nursing job, but liking the idea of doing kind of an eBay business at the same time. So was an internet business something that always appealed to you? When did you decide maybe that an online business, the internet was the way forward for you in terms of a career?
Well, I'm pretty ambitious. I'm a pretty ambitious person. I had all 3 children of mine during my nursing course. I'm wondering if a Guinness World Record's going to pick that up at some stage.
Get it out there. I've never heard it before.
Yeah, I might contact them. But yeah, so I had, and after my last one was born, I was like, breastfeeding, writing essays, and then I graduated as a nurse. Still managed to get a distinction. I don't know how I managed to do that one.
Don't expect anything less.
Seriously, honestly, I was in shock. But yeah, in terms of like, it was also kind of like my husband. He was wanting to do something. He's watched the kids whilst I was, you know, at uni all the time with this nursing course. Nursing courses are full on. You have like a whole degree, plus you have to work full time in a hospital. It's like double nightmare.
Can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, really, really hard. And by the time I finished that, it took me like 5.5 years because of the kids. But he wanted to do something as well. So we started this eBay thing together. Okay. But actually wasn't really that interested in it. It was just ended up being me doing all the work. So
right.
At that stage, like I knew that I wanted an online business because I really enjoyed the photo shoots with the cars because I was selling ride-on cars. I enjoyed like creating websites. I enjoyed writing listings. I enjoyed basically pottering about online. What I hated was the deliveries, the collections, the returns, the meaningless, dreaded conversations that I was having with customers about dimensions, functions, delivery times that were just, you know, after you've had that conversation 50 times, you just don't have it anymore. It's just,
yeah.
So I wanted to do something where I could potter about online as a kind of hobby, I guess. And that's what I had in my mind when, you know, when the SFM did pop up. I was like, this kind of fits that because there isn't a physical product that I have to actually ship. I knew at that stage there was no way on this planet I was going to be boxing and labeling anything ever again in my entire life. So yeah, I would definitely wanted some kind of online business because I understood the concept of running your own business without actually physically having to be held down. And I'd experienced that from being held down with, you know, shipping and deliveries and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
More trapping than ever, actually, because you can't just leave that business and go on holiday for a couple of weeks. You have to shut your eBay store. You know, you haven't got any little elves doing it for you whilst you're away. It's like, shut the shop, money stops. And yeah, so, but like I said, I wasn't actively looking for it. It was, I say that, I remember doing a few Google searches and I remember being completely overwhelmed by the return of the search, which was like business consultant, web developer, marketing, you know, agency and all this kind of stuff. And I just remember being like, oh my God, like I have no idea what even any of these are. I have no experience. I'm a nurse. We don't sell things. We fix people for free in the UK anyway. You know, so it was daunting and I just basically kept shutting the laptop, whatever. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
even answer your question, or did I just go on?
I didn't say. I just like listening to your talks. I very much felt the same level of overwhelm when I first came in because I didn't really have a background in tech. You know, I could just about turn off and on a PlayStation. That was about it. And even though I recruit for IT professionals as my trade previously, I wasn't particularly techy myself. But it's amazing, actually. I was having this conversation with somebody quite recently that now I do think that there's this whole stigma attached to tech, and you know, a lot of people thinking they're too old or you know they haven't got the skills to do it. And actually, just with a bit of kind of intention and a bit of elbow grease and a bit of hard work, but you know, if you've got the right mindset to learn, I think it's as easy now as it's ever been to really start an online business because a lot of the tools that we have at our disposal now, a lot of people just aren't even aware that they exist, you know, in terms of like creating a website now. You know, I've created all my websites myself, you know, and I'm not particularly techy, but you know, it's something I've really enjoyed doing as well. It's totally different to what I've done before. And, you know, creating an e-commerce website now or just to sell stuff online, I can do that. And I think a lot of people could actually probably get there relatively quickly if they're prepared to kind of just say lift their head up and realize there are these other opportunities out there, that you know these other different business models that do exist outside of the traditional corporate 9 to 5. So for you, when you know that whole automated element of things, I massively empathize with that as well. You know, like I say, getting away from the manual side of an eBay business. Similarly for me in recruitment, you know, it's, if I want to speak to 40 people, I have to pick up the phone 40 times and do 40 phone calls. Whereas with, you know, my online business, it runs on such an automated basis that, you know, I'm marketing, I'm speaking to people whilst I'm asleep. You know, it's just out there. I do a video once and it's out there working for me. And that's one of the things that I really kind of fell in love with about the business model. It does sort of alleviate so much of your time. But the kind of direction that you wanted to go in when you found the SFM, what sort of business, where do you think you'll go with that education? Because obviously a lot of people use it for the affiliate model to remarket the SFM. Other people do online e-commerce websites and use the education for that kind of guys. So where do you think you'll kind of go with it as the next step for you with the education?
Yeah, well, just before I answer that question, to address what you just said about how it's easy for anyone to start a business online. We have everything we possibly need these days. I mean, you don't even need to be a graphic designer to create amazing graphics, and using really simple tools like Canva.com, which is free. And I just discovered a tool the other day that completely removes the background of an image in a click of a button without you having to spend ages on Adobe removing it, which I was just like, oh my god, you just saved my life. And yeah, I agree, there's so many things that are out there, and it's easier now than it ever has been. Could you imagine being in the 90s code and do all this it's super easy. There's loads of software out there and stuff. But what I kind of about this is that I've been there before, in the sense of an online course that teaches you how to do stuff, and you go away and you do it and you meet your first hurdle, and then it's like, oh, how am I going to jump this? What's the answer to this problem? What's the answer to this question? Who can I contact? Oh no, I'm on my own, sitting in my living room with nobody around me who's experienced in this kind of thing. No one to contact apart from the guy that sold me the course, where there's an email address that he replies to 5 days later with some, vague answer that doesn't even make sense. Yeah. And that's hard. That's really hard, because it's easier than it's ever been to build an online business. But if you think you can do it without support and mentorship, then you've got to be flipping clued on up here. Because the majority of us need some guidance, and you may think, well, that's okay, I can just watch YouTube videos. You will find everything you need to know on YouTube. But the reality is that you're going to have a lot of conflicting information. And where's your expert who actually knows the answer from their experience? And so that's something that really helped me coming in after doing another course, is that actually, I'm surrounded by this community of, Guy, I can just ring you up. I've got your telephone number. I can just ring you up and say, Guy, I cannot figure out how to bloody work this thing on my Convertri landing page. Have you done this? Do you know what? And, and we help each other. And it's not just me and you. It's the entire community, and live webinars and people and places to go for help, and that's what sets this apart. But going back to your question, what am I going to do with this education? Well, to start off with, I had no idea. I was just like, Jesus, I have no idea where to start with a business. And I think it's really important for anybody starting out to not worry about what that looks like right now, and to just start doing something. Believe me, if you stand at the bottom of the mountain thinking, how the hell am I going to get all the way up there? That is a long way. You ain't going to get there. You've got to focus on the little steps that you take. And before you know it, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, Jesus, if I come all this way just from taking these little steps. So when I came in, I decided I was going to be an affiliate for the SFM. That is an option. It's not obligatory. There are some people out there that think that we're a pyramid scheme because we allow our students to sell our products so that actually they can get a good education without needing to know what their passion is right now. It's just an option. It's just there if you want to do that, and if you feel that that's something that's in line with your values and your goals and your mission, etc. For me, it was, because I completely fell head over heels in love with this company after module 2. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I stumbled across these guys. They're spiritual. They've got these amazing values. They're the most kindest, sweetest people ever. And they're just whoa, I was just mind blown. So to be a part of it was I was excited about that. And at first I was like, okay, so being an affiliate for the SFM in the sense of selling business courses. Okay, I have no idea what business is about. I've never been a business person, whatever. But then I soon realized that actually it's not about that. It's not about making money, and it's not about selling business courses or any of that. It's about helping people to make change and take huge steps in their life towards a better life that they deserve. And that's replaced my fulfillment from nursing. But yes, that's what I've started with, and I've been doing that for about 2 years. I've honed that skill. I've become quite good at that. My numbers are good, and I'm ready to take that to the next level. But meantime, I've also started 2 other businesses as well.
Yeah.
Off the back of everything I've learned from being an affiliate and being surrounded by these awesome people, and you know, indulging myself in every single challenge that's thrown at me and whatever. I've learned so much, and I've just learned so much about myself mainly. One of the things that I would never have known if I hadn't come on this journey is how passionate I am about editing, video editing. Never edited video before, never needed to. And here I am now, you know, about to be a cameraman for weddings and stuff this summer. I'm started a business called Quick Flicks where I'm editing videos for small businesses to showcase their brand on Instagram. And yeah, so that's one thing. And then there's also the Power Mum Club, which is my long project of basically building up and nurturing a community of mums starting out in business.
Nice.
To support them and create an awesome environment for them. So yeah, there's a lot that comes off the back of it, and it's mainly down to just focusing on these small steps, one at a time, you know.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you got to do? That's all you need to focus on.
Totally. I mean, a lot of very, very good points there. And I think just to go back to the point you made right at the beginning, that, you know, really was an unexpected thing for me. That I had no idea how powerful it would be in terms of my attributing to my success in this journey. And I think when you say the word community, it gets banded around a lot, doesn't it? You know, it's an online community, it's community, but
right?
It genuinely is the only place I've, you know, kind of being part of a community. It actually really feels like a community where, you know, people are going out of their way to help other people with no real vested interest. It's not really helping them, but they're doing it because everybody gets that, you know, we want to help other people. And I think your point, you know, it sounds really kind of cheesy and, you know, over the top, but for me and the business I was in, recruitment, you know, it is very much about money, making money. And, you know, it was just fine for a while when I was a younger man. That's okay, you know, kind of, you know, go and buy a nice car and nice suits and all that kind of stuff. But very, very quickly that kind of wears off. And one of the big drivers really of me doing something like this, an online business, and again, why I chose to do the affiliate model first is because I will eventually, I think, go down the e-commerce route and start to sell products. And I've got a few ideas of things that I would sell, but at the moment, the SFM is the product I'm so passionate about, and probably the most passionate about out of anything I could, you know, market to people, because I know what it's done for me and what a change it's kind of made on my life. So yeah, that's the kind of reason I went down that route. But I think, like I say, helping people, the community, giving back. If I hadn't had that, and I didn't have people around me that kind of every time I was faltered or didn't know the way of doing something, you know, kind of pick it back up, I think I might have quit. You know, to be honest, I think I might have quit by now because there's so many hurdles. And like I say, I know I was speaking earlier about how it is quite easy to do a website and things these days, but like you say, there is a lot of information that you need to go and get, and just having that on tap, you know, that community of people that can give you that information and, you know, support you emotionally as well, is the most, you know, amazing thing that I think I've taken out of this journey so far. And I genuinely feel now that the only way you can kind of fail in your online business is if you stop asking questions. Because every time I've ever had a question, you know, I'll pop a question into the tribe or the Facebook group, and you literally get like 60 responses from people you haven't even met sometimes. You know, they're part of the community, but they just want to help. And it's like, I don't know where you get that anywhere else, you know. And
it's because Stuart and Jay, for people watching this who don't know who that is, they're the founders of the SFM. They created the SFM. So it's because they have created such an amazing culture, and it's all based on the fact that business is about providing value. We're not in business to take money from people. We're in business to help solve people's problems. And if you want to be a millionaire, or if you want to be like, 10 steps ahead, income financial goal wise than you are now, it's not about what can I do to get that money or to earn that money. It's about who do I need to become in order to have the right to even have that money. And I think that's why it filters through the community so much, is because we're all about providing value here, aren't we? You know, so it really does emanate through the community, because the first place you can provide value is in your family, your SFM family, you know. And then that kind of will then, if that's integrated into the beginning of your journey into building your own business, that's a pattern that's going to continue throughout your business career path, or, you know, timescale, or whatever you want to call it. It's like putting values into children. You know, we're all children when we first join the SFM. We're all new. We don't really know what's going on. We just join in and, like, you know, with a view to make some more money and whatever, and then we just learn all this amazing stuff of actually what it's really about, and finding out about who we are and what impact we want to make on the world, on the planet, and on other people. So yeah, definitely. I don't know how they've done it. If you could bottle that, how to make a community so loving, warm, and giving. There are so many communities out there that would benefit from that.
I know, absolutely.
From that bottle.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's what I do day in, day out in the recruitment industry, is see people's businesses, their cultures, you know, what they stand for as a business and that kind of thing. And, you know, we probably service something like 500 different companies in London and the South. And I've never seen a business that has the kind of raw sense of community that you have. And like I say, if you can bottle it, it's something really special. But I think it just goes back to the point you made earlier, that a lot of people are like, yeah, it's the make money online dream and that kind of thing. But for a lot of people that I've certainly spoken to, it's a massive secondary thing to, like you say, the creating of value and providing value for people. And the way I look at it, you know, now when I think about, you know, how do I make an income? It's not about, like you say, how do I get that next financial goal? It's about how many people do I need to help, you know, to make that a reality? What services do I need to provide to them? What help do I need to give to them to make that reality? And not only is that just a much more pleasant place to live your life in, where you're not constantly looking at a place of lack, thinking, oh, I want to be making 500 grand a year. How do I go make 500 grand a year? It's like you're looking at it from a place of, okay, well, yes, all right, I do want to make a good income, but I know that to do that, I need to genuinely provide really good services and value to the market. And you know that you actually, as cheesy as it sounds, having a big positive impact on, you know, you're leaving a mark, aren't you, on society and helping people get to where they want to get to. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So I suppose just one last question to before I let you go. I think it's quite an apt one when we're speaking about, you know, the difficulties and the potential perceived hurdles on this journey. But I think, you know, I'll be the first person to say I am very passionate about the SFM. So when I speak to people about it, I do want to believe that everybody has the ability to kind of leave a life that they're not, you know, maybe they're a bit disenchanted and you know, don't particularly enjoy, to go and start an online business that can give them a better quality of life. So I do kind of like to feel that everybody has that potential, but I know the reality of the situation is it isn't for everybody, you know, and I think we've got to be really honest about that as well, that some people just are not in the right headspace, right mental place to kind of commit to that journey. A lot of people hope it's a get rich quick scheme, which it definitely isn't, you know, for anyone that's been here any amount of time. It is a journey. Is it possible to make a lot of money doing it? Absolutely, but you need to commit to the journey. It's not going to happen overnight. You've got to really you know, commit to that.
There are no shortcuts.
Exactly. Yeah. So what do you think then, in terms of what kind of person will succeed in this business? You know, what kind of person do you think is the right fit for, you know, the SFM and you know, starting an online business and it being successful?
I think any person. I don't think it's about the type of person. I think it's about the mindset. And it could like, I truly believe, like, the SFM's growing. We're growing massively, and we're going to be a household name in the next 10 years. Like, watch this space. Everyone's going to know about the SFM. It's not going to be a new thing, as it is now. And I don't think that it's a case of what kind of person, because I think everybody is capable of making massive change in their life. Like, you know, if you want it, go and get it, go and make it happen. A couple of things though. Firstly, you may not like the fact that we're a little bit spiritual. We're very positive. Had a couple of people that I've seen a couple of people over the last 2 years, you know, that have found that a bit weird, like what's going on. We are like that. That's what we're like, you know. We're very positive. We're very. You'll get a lot of positivity thrown your way. We have like coaches that help people out at, you know, with mindset blocks, and it's all about positivity, law of attraction, whatever. And I have to say, it's one of the things that blew my mind when I came here, because 2 years ago, law of attraction was a lot less known than it is now. Like, it's been like, whoo, like everybody's getting to understand about energy, whatever. But when I discovered it 2.5 to 3 years ago, you know, when I first joined the SFM, it's like a corporate environment with spiritual foundations, and it's just like, whoa, what is here? Like, you may have watched videos of Stuart Ross, you may not realize how spiritual that guy is. It's these like cool spiritual people, you know, really, really cool sound spiritual kind of people. It's really funky, cool environment. But in terms of your mindset, now we do have a lot of people that quit. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Not everybody is going to come here, build a business, leave with a successful business, quit their job and go and live on a bloody desert island drinking bloody, I can't think of a drink right now. Coconut juice, freshly, you know, whatever. Okay, moving on. But yeah, no, not everyone's going to get that success. And there's only one reason why, and it's all to do within here. And that's why in module 2 of our training, for instance, we have such a strong theme of getting to understand where you are at mentally. Because if you do not believe you're going to succeed, you ain't going to succeed. It ain't going to happen, because you will stop yourself. You will keep stopping yourself from succeeding if you don't believe it's going to happen. So it's about being ready to actually make this step. And there are so many things. If you're sat here right now thinking, Jesus, I'm not ready. Like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to start a course, join a community, learn some new things, create some videos or some content and put myself out there. Like, that terrifies you and you're not ready to take that step. That's fine. Just accept that that's where you are right now. But maybe like go and do some reading or watch some videos like Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, read Jen Sincero's I'm a Badass at Making Money. There are so many resources out there that you can just soak up without actually having to take any action yet, and prepare yourself and get yourself into the right mindset. That's what I would say.
I think that is a very, very good. I'll also add one more to that as well. I think Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is one of the best books I've read around that, of, you know, kind of the whole, again, I mean, I don't see myself as a particularly spiritual person, you know, happy clappy and kind of, you know, but I do.
That's what people think of though, right? Happy clappy, you know, like you don't be happy clappy, but we
that's so not me, you know.
Not any of us.
But I am a massive believer in mindset, absolutely. And I know just from my own personal journey, where I was 2 years ago to where I am today. And like you said, I think and most people that come into this journey, there is a serious level of overwhelm when you think, there's so many different moving parts and different things you've got to learn. But your point that you made earlier about, you know, it's always about what is that small next logical step, you know, and if you keep wherever you are at that point, just keep taking the next logical step. That in itself, it starts to rewire your brain to actually feeling just infinitely more empowered, infinitely more positive, you know, and I do feel incredibly more empowered, incredibly more positive as a person now. And I think I've got a lot more to give back, and, you know, I probably am way more positive as a person. So I think the community is probably just an amalgamation of all those different people that have kind of made that transition and have that kind of level of positivity in their lives now, that, you know, it is one of, you know, I always make a habit of posting in the tribe every day, or adding into the tribe every day in the morning, because it just gets me in that mindset in the morning to have a good day, you know.
I wonder why you were posting in the tribe quite a lot. That's awesome. I like that.
Every day. It's one of my New Year's resolutions. Every day. You're getting 365 of those bad boys. Yeah. We're only about 20 down. But yeah, look, thank you very much, Cordelia. Really, really appreciate you sparing the time to have a chat with me. And I will be seeing you very soon, will I not, in San Diego. We're going to be going to San Diego together, the Traffic and Convention Summit, so I'm massively looking forward to that. But yeah, all that remains then is for me to say over and out, and thank you again. And I will look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future.
And you, Guy, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.